Oh, that was the countdown?
That was the countdown.
That was the countdown. All right.
This is the first time we're going to say it. It's so exciting.
The first time we're doing it right. Welcome to 100% Real with Alex and Amanda, a business lifestyle podcast.
Cue introduction music.
Best believe, we the best, yes indeed, yeah, best believe, we the best, yes indeed.
All right, so for those who are listening to this for the first time, and that will be many of you because this is the first podcast episode of 100% Real with Alex and Amanda. Today's topic is about dumping Zillow for Facebook ads and relationship building.
Yes, and we're going to give all the gushy details of how we actually market ourselves on Facebook and how we've been killing it, crushing it on the Facebook end.
Yes, we're actually going to give away the secret sauce in this episode of exactly what we do. But before we get started, we want to introduce ourselves. But even before then, we just want to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Design for Realtors, where you can find instant, downloadable, and customizable marketing designs and apparel for real estate agents. So I'm going to go ahead and let Alex introduce himself.
What's going on, everybody? I am Alex. I am the CEO of Ian Alexander Realty Group, the hybrid brokerage in Queens, and I'm also CCO of Design for Realtors. And yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I trade Bitcoin, and I do a lot of random things.
We've got a number of different interests and hobbies and business ventures going on. And I'm your second host, Amanda, and I am a real estate agent in Queens, New York at Ian Alexander Realty Group, alongside my broker / love of my life, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
I also help co-operate, and do a lot of the marketing for the brokerage. So if you see any of our ads, a lot of the social media content and things like that, I had a hand in it. And I'm also the CEO of Design for Realtors.
There you go. Making everything look pretty.
Yes. So that was a very exciting project for us to do. But more on that later. So let's actually get into the nitty gritty of it. So in order to understand, kind of the differences between Zillow and their Career Agent program, as well as what you have to gain from running Facebook ads versus the two, Alex, why don't you tell us how you actually got started in real estate? Like, what was your first prospecting experience?
I mean, it wasn't even that long ago, to be honest with you, but it sounds so old and outdated. But when I first got into real estate, the first week, they basically gave me a phone book, like the yellow pages.
I was going to say,
or the white pages. I'm not sure. It was one of those. And I literally called through like a bunch of people on there, not knowing what to say. And even if someone said they were interested in real estate, I would get so nervous that I would hang up on them. That's what would happen. So it's actually not that cool of a story, but that's how I got started with originally prospecting. And then I kind of started getting better at it. I started listening to people. I started observing the top producers in my office at the time. And then from there, I basically, just got better. I got my first deals in motion, and then I got some money behind my belt, right? And then a lot of people at that time were throwing all their money into postcarding, right? And I saw the light at the end of the tunnel with postcarding. I'm not against postcarding, but I decided to go a different route, which I went with Zillow, right? And actually, I didn't go with Zillow. I went with Trulia. Trulia and Zillow didn't own Trulia at that time.
So were the top producers that you said you were watching, were they focusing on postcarding?
Yeah, they were just cold calling and postcarding and basically building through their network. I was really young at the time, so my network was barely even renting. Everyone lived at home with their parents.
Oh, wow.
So there was really nobody that, and everybody wanted like a discount and then didn't want to pay me a broker's fee and all that stuff in my circle at that time.
True. You really were young. I mean, for those who are watching this and aren't too familiar with who we are, we're actually under the age of 30.
I'm almost there, guys. I'm almost there.
We're almost there. But, we're relatively young. So 6 years ago, you were still in your early 20s.
Yeah. And I remember I was swimming in my suit. And then, I invested my money into Trulia at the time. It wasn't owned by Zillow yet. Right. So I did it in Trulia. I think I gave I had $2,000 to my name, and I think I put $300 a month towards it. Yeah. And at that time they were in contracts. So once you kind of put that money up front type of thing, you were in contract until the end of the year. So I had to make something happen. So I kind of put my back up against the wall, and I made it work. And then I started buying from Trulia. I also invested in Zillow then separately.
Yeah, I mean, if you only had $2,000 to your name and you had to sign a contract for 6 months?
No, it was a year, I believe.
It was a year. Oh yeah, it was a year back then. I remember you telling me that. That's quite a chunk of change to commit to when you're first starting out your career in real estate.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
and
real estate agents out there who can relate to kind of locking themselves into those contracts back then.
Yeah, so I locked myself into the contract, and it was harmful at first because I had no idea how to convert. Mm-hmm. So I was getting the leads, and a lot of them were trashy leads, but because it was just, you were just getting calls, right?
So the calls were direct from the consumer.
Yes, direct through consumer, or they would just say, hey, you have a lead, and then you can go online and call them or whatever it may be. And I didn't know how to convert. And that was my first downfall, where I was like, damn. All right. So I had to basically, I lost all the money I made basically for my first deal.
Well, I mean, you had to have learned something along the way, because you went on to produce basically $200,000. A year. That's a big accomplishment in the real estate world, especially for someone who wasn't in the industry for 5-10 years when that happened. Yeah. So you at some point learned how to convert, right? Yeah. So basically, I learned the ins and outs of Zillow, right? So I've come a long way with Zillow. So I'm not knocking it that, the system doesn't work and you can't create systems around it, but there is a better way. Yeah. So just for everyone listening, we're not knocking Zillow. What this episode is about is really explaining, what you can expect with Zillow, what you can expect with Facebook ads, and the reasoning behind why we personally made the choice, right? This is a podcast, it's opinion. But we're going to share the facts of our experiences with both platforms and services. And, it's not to knock Zillow. So, all right, so when did Zillow Premier Agent become a thing? Because you said you invested in Trulia before Zillow owned Trulia. Yeah. So what year, was this 2 years ago? No, this was a while. This was probably so it's hard to even remember the exact time. But it was, I was kind of locked in by the end of my first year. So I closed my first 2 deals, I believe. I got my first deals in motion during the end of my first year. Then Trulia caught up with me hard, and I had to basically get a part-time job while those deals were closing. And then I started learning how to convert little by little. And then I was converting like a monster for a little bit on my own. Nice. And then from there, I built a team to help me convert. And then, it was history from there. So I understood how the algorithm, how to make it work. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, fast forward to present day. I've been with the brokerage going on 2 years now. I'm headed towards year 2. And it's been a whirlwind of information overload. Sort of, I've been a sponge. So part of Alex being my broker and also being the love of my life. It means that we're together pretty much 24/7. A lot of our business dealings are together. It's a mutual partnership. But in being around a real estate broker as a newbie, I shadowed him for 6 months prior to getting licensed. And that meant that I was privy to a lot of information that most new real estate agents don't get to see or interact with or be around and listen to. So I was hearing all those conversations, watching him convert, listening to the negotiations. So I saw also, what the process was when he joined Zillow Premier Agent a couple years ago. And it was a very different program than what it is today. Yeah. Can you talk about some of the differences then versus now? Yeah, so basically,
and before it was just, the phone would ring, they would try to contact an agent, or you would get the lead via email, right? And actually before they would answer the emails a lot more, but now they don't at all. Like the auto email is just bombarded, right? But now they made it more like a concierge service. So they connect you. So they charge even more per lead. So they basically help filter through the leads, but it's not really filtering. They kind of just say, hey, do you want to speak to an agent? And they're like, yeah. And then they give, it's like they put more people on the job just to like do less work and just pass them off to the person. So it's kind of warm.
Yeah.
And it's like first come, first serve, whoever answers the phone type of thing.
Yeah. We'll get into like warm versus cold leads very briefly later in this episode. But the program definitely did change. One thing that was a big deciding factor for us making this personal decision within the brokerage to dump Zillow for Facebook ads and relationship building was that we heard about this new program called Flex.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's kind of basically what Redfin did before they tried to cut out their agents type of thing, or cut out the other agents because they've been grabbing some of the inventory up. It's basically Zillow's saying, hey, you no longer have to pay, but you have to give us a certain portion of your commission. So they become like a watchdog type of service. And it's just a natural progression until they're just going to try to take a majority of the market share away from realtors. I'm not for that personally. I know Amanda's not.
Yeah, I'm completely.
Amanda has been against Zillow since she joined IA Realty Group. She's also, because think about it, they're basically, a lot of agents rely solely on Zillow, right? For me, I've always had Zillow as like a side thing, because with buyers, it would just feed my buyers agents and it would keep people happy, but I would focus mainly on the listings and I would get buyers through that personally. So that's how I built my relationships. But I use Zillow as like a subsidized, like, it's always nice to have people calling you. Like, it's nice to have people calling you rather than you constantly calling people all the time. I think it was just something out of convenience, right?
Yeah, and there are benefits to the program. Like at the end of the day, it's people who are searching for homes and they're contacting you. So there's benefits there. But I've definitely been against Zillow from the beginning. And I think it's just this idea that, all they're doing is marketing properties, which is what our job as real estate agents is anyway. That's what real estate agents are supposed to be doing. So it's kind of like, we're paying all this money so that they can go and create all these programs and services that work against us. It's like we're feeding the flame, feeding the monster that's going to essentially take us out of the game.
Yeah, definitely. And it's funny that you say that, but in regards to marketing, right? The industry has made such a shift, right? From, that traditional cold calling, sales, like Wolf of Wall Street type of hitting the phones, to now relationship building and, becoming a resource, which you should have been doing. I've been doing that, but without calling it being a resource, right?
Yeah.
But now I see things shifting. I see everybody going, a lot of people going to the internet, but it's not where most of the business is anyway. It always starts there, but it usually, they usually go with someone that they trust or someone that they know, or friend of a friend type of thing.
Yeah, it takes time to build that relationship and really position yourself as a resource for someone who's looking to buy or sell their home. I actually just went live on Instagram a couple of days ago and talked about, whether or not leads are good or bad, like internet leads, Facebook or Zillow. Because a lot of real estate agents will say like, oh, they're crappy leads, but that's not true. It's just they're further out from the actual purchase, like the amount of time it's going to take them to make a purchase.
So on average, what do you think it was?
It's 6 to 12 months before an online lead will actually make a purchase.
Yeah, so it requires a lot of follow-up, which I feel like a lot of realtors are horrible at.
Yes, it's sad to say, but it's kind of a what would you call that? Realtors have a reputation for not being good at follow-up.
Yeah.
I've even heard it from the consumer side.
Yeah. And it's definitely something I feel like I've excelled at. I'm really good at the follow up. But I mean, in regards to the follow up, right? So now technology has taken us so far, right? So like follow up now includes text messaging. I used to never text anybody, right? And now texting is like such a big thing. People are buying like these text messaging services which auto text message now. What's your opinion on that, by the way? Like regarding text marketing, what do you think? Where do you think that's going?
I actually think that text message marketing direct to consumer is going to be huge, and it's going to definitely become a thing. Just like, before, marketers actually didn't touch email. Marketers didn't touch social media. Marketers wouldn't touch Snapchat because they thought that the audience wasn't
I'm guilty of that.
of age. Gary Vee says it best. He says, marketers' job is to ruin things. So whatever you go into as a marketer, you're supposed to quote unquote ruin it. And it's this idea that you add marketing to it, and people, since no one's really doing it right now, like really, really hard, the way that email marketing is done, text message marketing could 100% be a thing. It just, it depends how you do it. And a lot of marketers right now are running text messages into their funnels, where it's like I am actually part of funnels. So a dirty little secret, everyone. I like to sign up for those free webinars.
Good tactic.
and free things that marketers will offer, whether it be real estate agents in different states or things like that. As long as I feel like it didn't come from an ad, because I don't actually want to waste their money. But anything that I come across organically, I'll sign up for it because I want to see their funnel. I want to see how often they're following up. And this has actually allowed me to see that, wow, some people are going so far as finding me directly on Facebook, messaging me, friend requesting me, sending me text messages, sending me emails, going into the DMs. It's actually pretty crazy, but not everyone's doing it, which means this is a great time to be that committed to following up across all those different channels.
Yeah, and I definitely would say, if you do kind of go that route, try to avoid the spammy, because I hate like text messages that are spammy.
Yeah, when you can tell they're generic.
Yeah, like, hi, are you interested in whatever? Like, no, I'm not. Right? Like
It could be any more obvious that this was automated.
Yeah, like I feel like there has to be a level of human there. I don't know how I feel personally about the full text message thing, because I feel like that's like a sacred ground for us right now. It's the only place where people aren't really hitting us too hard, but eventually we're going to get hit from text message. I already get those scam likely calls all the time.
Scam likely calls.
Yeah, like the Albanian numbers or whatever it may be. Emails, the open rates have, dropped a little bit, so it requires more and more emails to be sent out, and people aren't really responding well to pretty emails anymore. They rather have the plain text emails. They respond better to that.
Emails perform really well. We learned that the hard way, but that's a conversation for a different episode.
Yeah. Don't do spammy stuff.
Yeah. So, bringing it back to these different marketing channels and, what the experience is with Zillow Premier Agent and how they have like their concierge thing and the different ways that they contact you. We talked about the Flex program, which is essentially, I think it's a different podcast, I forget which one, but they said that it's essentially like Zillow is charging agents a tax on their commission.
Yeah, it's like a referral. Yeah. Referral fee type thing.
Essentially a referral fee, which is crazy. But between the Flex program, the Instant Offers program, all these different programs that Zillow has been coming out with, it just speaks volumes to how they revere real estate agents, and it's not like they're really trying to help us. It really feels like they're using the money to fuel their own projects that will cut us out down the line.
And I think it also has to do with a mindset that a lot of realtors have, right? And I've been there. I understand the mindset from a first person view, right? The mindset that like, this is helping me a lot, right? But in reality, that's a limited mindset. because there's so much opportunity out there. There's so like we've generated so many leads recently that like I don't even know what to do with them, right? Like
we're actually going to share the numbers with you in terms of like what the lead gen has looked like.
Yeah.
From Zillow to Facebook ads, and we won't include the relationship building stats into there. We just want to keep it strictly like the online leads portion.
Yeah.
But let's actually talk a little bit about how I was the one who was afraid to go all in for Facebook ads.
Yeah.
Alex was
gung ho because I was ready. I mean, I was personally because to be honest with you, like I remember getting so many leads through open houses, getting so many leads through alternative ways of marketing. Zillow was just convenient, right? So it's like fast food.
I have to stop you for 1 second just to share a funny little like stat fact for those of you who are nerdy and do like to track your numbers. I actually looked in our CRM the other day, and between, I can't remember if it was 4 open houses or 5, but either way, in 4 or 5 open houses, we've actually had more generated leads than Zillow over the course of 5 months.
Boom.
Like more leads, and granted we don't like to call them leads because they're people, but for the purposes of the conversation, we'll say leads. More leads from 4 to 5 open houses versus Zillow over 5 months.
Yeah.
And that's spending bank on Zillow.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's like free 99.
Yeah.
Right? So
Houses don't cost a thing.
and you're getting yourself into a neighborhood, and you're putting your presence out there. And I think with Zillow is just a convenience factor.
Yeah.
Right? It's the fact they're the fast food, right?
It feels like you're working. Like it feels like, not that you're working, I take that back. It feels like you're getting results.
It feels like you're doing something when you're not doing anything.
Yes, exactly. 'Cause at the end of the day, if the leads are you're not converting on them, and just it's not, in all honesty, it's not as effective as actually going out there and talking to people. What's that phrase that they say for politicians? Shaking hands and kissing babies.
Yes, if you're not kissing babies as a realtor, you're not doing your job.
Exactly. So, Alex has wanted to go all in for Facebook ads for a while, and I am just one of those people, and I think you are too, but I guess because I was a little elbow deep in it, as far as like setting the ads up with pictures and stuff like that. I was very nervous because, I wasn't sure that the Facebook ads could live up to the amount of leads that Zillow was creating for us. So I spoke to Alex and I said, just give me a couple months to really like figure out, test some different things. So I'm actually going to talk a little bit about some of the different strategies that we tried.
Let's do it.
We did some Facebook lead gen ads, and I will say that while those did perform, I wouldn't necessarily say that they performed the best. And at the end of the day, you don't have the added benefit of actually getting the consumer or the potential buyer or seller onto your real estate website.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can.
Yeah.
It's really powerful to get them on the website and see the brand.
Yeah, and also a lot of people don't actually use their real email when on Facebook. They use like a junk email, right? That they're not really interested in using.
Truth be told, the email that I use for my Facebook account is an email that I don't even have access to.
Yeah. I mean, mine is like the oldest email of all time.
Don't hack me, guys.
I mean, if I sign up for your stuff, you won't even be able to get in contact with me.
Yeah. So, we tried the lead gen. I tried the strategy where, both of us, I think at one point we ran an ad where you built a landing page and I built a landing page.
Yeah.
And then we saw like which landing page would.
Yeah. Which is it? We thought it was the aesthetics of the landing page that would help convert more.
Yeah. So, a little healthy competition.
Yeah.
is not a bad thing. But that surprisingly, the landing pages didn't convert as well. And I think that has to do with, it could be like page loading time. It could also be just people being unfamiliar with the brand.
I also think it was our landing page format, just because of our where we subscribe to Squarespace.
Yeah. So we were doing our landing pages using Squarespace, not anything like lead pages or any of those services. So we were building them using that platform.
And I personally think there was way too much clicks that needed to happen in order for it to to go through.
Yes, definitely way too many clicks. So, those are just three of the types of options that we tried. But the winner was when we started using IDX Broker.
Yes.
It happened.
We had IDX Broker for so long. Like even before she was an agent, I had IDX Broker and I was using it wrong this whole time. I would get leads every so often, just natural like traffic to the website, but it wasn't like the volume that we have now. We weren't actually utilizing the tools that.
Yeah, it's actually kind of crazy. Like when we get into the numbers, we think it'll probably blow your minds. So, we tried all those different strategies, and the one that worked was using Facebook ads for conversions. So optimizing them for conversions, using multiple different image sets. So for anyone who's not familiar with Facebook ads, you don't have to run an ad with just one photo. You can try 6 different photos at one time to see which one performs better, and then actually just cut off the ones that are not performing well, or stick to the one that's performing the absolute best. And since it's conversion based, Facebook is actually going to do everything that they can to get you those conversions on the website, which you can track using the Facebook Pixel.
Yeah, and just before you continue, so personally, from what we've been doing, what do you think has been performing well?
Honestly,
in regards to pictures
of
kitchens.
People like kitchen porn.
Yeah, that sounds weird. I think that's actually a thing, but let's not talk about that. So you're saying kitchens are performing well?
Yes.
The most. But so do you think that could vary based on area? So like, for example, if you're in Florida or like, somewhere where it's hot year round or majority of the year, do you think like pools would be a big thing?
Absolutely. I think if you actually look and pay mind, you'll see that like what stands out in a house, like at least in New York, like people would die for a beautiful kitchen.
Yeah.
It's not something that you can easily get here.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody's eating seamless anyway, so I don't know what the point of it is, but whatever. I mean, I prefer a nice bathroom, but I don't think a bathroom would look nice in a photo.
It's funny. I think I'm a living room fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, the kitchen pictures perform like you wouldn't believe. And so, the ads are set up in 6 pictures. We get rid of the pictures that aren't performing the best. It's set up for conversion. We use IDX Broker. So essentially, the potential buyer or seller will click on the ad, and then it takes them to our website on IDX Broker. And so the CTA is to be able to see a list of properties.
So for people who don't know what a CTA is, that's call to action.
Yes. So CTA is call to action. And if they click through, they'll land on our website, which will actually not show them the list of properties at first. It's going to request that they share their contact information and their name. And that is where we capture the lead's info. They are able to look at the property list, essentially, and that's then from there, they're put through the funnel. Yeah,
so we're basically doing what Zillow's doing because they do the same exact thing.
Basically. So let's get into the numbers.
Okay.
Right? So, with Zillow over 5 months, we're going to use what we did this year with Zillow, just because we've been in and out of the program multiple times.
Yeah.
But over the course of 5 months, it was about 148 leads generated.
Okay.
Right? Yeah.
And that was with about $1,000 spent, I think.
$1,000 per month spent over 5 months, and it was 148 leads. Now, we ran some numbers, and Alex actually confirmed that if we were to take what we were spending on Zillow and move it over to Facebook ads. So essentially, I found like the winning Facebook ad formula along with Alex, and we were like, okay, this is how many leads we got based on this 2-week span. So if we run the numbers based on this 2-week span and we continue to do the ads this way, if we put the money that we're spending on Zillow into these Facebook ads, we would actually get, it was 248% more leads. 248% more leads than with Zillow Premier Agent. That's absolutely crazy. Those are big, big jumps.
And I think with the conversion, when they actually jump onto our page, we've seen quality, better numbers, right? Than when we were doing the lead gen pages originally.
Yes.
We were receiving a lot more accurate information. We were actually speaking to people. When we were doing the lead gen pages, I feel like we were barely speaking to people. It was just...
Yeah, like, and when he says lead gen pages, what we're talking about is the landing pages that we had built earlier.
Oh no, I was actually talking about the lead gen directly through Facebook.
Oh, Facebook lead gen.
Yeah, Facebook lead gen pages.
So, yeah, the information just wasn't really accurate. So 248% is a big deal. And, take that number and then now let's look at, we had mentioned, open houses.
Yes.
4 to 5 open houses, more leads than we had did on Zillow, and open houses are free.
Yeah. And I think that's like, if you think about it, in person is probably the best way to go about it.
Yeah.
Like if we had to say what's better, our Facebook ads or our Zillow ads, it would be open house.
Yeah, open house.
Open house with Facebook ads.
Yes, open house with Facebook
And
ads, 100%.
traffic driving ads, which were great.
Yeah. So another crazy stat is we actually just calculated this before we started recording this, and it was that we spent over the course of 30 days only $177, which is kind of bananas, but $177, and our cost per lead was actually, it was $4.11.
Badass.
$4.11, $177 spent over 30 days, and that actually totaled to $5.90 per day spent.
That's amazing.
So that's actually pretty wild. So I don't have a calculator on me to actually figure out.
Yeah, all of our devices are being used.
Devices right now to record this thing. We got extra creative today. But just those numbers alone, it kind of like is baffling, where it's like, wow, there's a huge difference between Zillow Premier Agent and running Facebook ads.
Yeah, and I feel like what deters a lot of people is they don't know how to do it, right? And they're not willing to do the trial and error because they're in desperation mode.
Yes.
And the reason why is because, me personally, what I think is that the industry is oversaturated.
Definitely.
It's too easy to become a realtor. But it's not easy to become a professional.
Yeah, that barrier to entry is really low, and there's a lot of, we actually just attended a workshop about this, where there's a lot of people learning. They're not really learning because they're not doing it.
Yeah.
That's where the true learning happens. I remember shadowing Alex, and he made me get on the phone. I didn't want to get on the phone, and he made me, and when I'm nervous, I giggle.
Yeah.
It was a lot of giggling.
And I must say, from that time where she barely could get on the phone, now she could convert a incoming buyer call like nothing. I'm saying it's become it has become second nature in the fact that you know what you're talking about, so you're more confident in that. So I feel like as a brokerage leader, as anyone who's part of a brokerage, before you start hitting those phones, start taking action with your broker present or with somebody present to help guide you in the right direction, whether it be a mentor or somebody who has been doing it for a while, who understands the game. Because if you kind of do it yourself, you might, it's going to take a longer time. Personally, for me, it took a longer time. The learning curve was super hard, just because I didn't really have anybody, telling me, shifting my squat position. So, I had to go through the injuries. I had to hit the wall a couple of times. So, definitely go out there, find a mentor, find somebody who can help you convert on the phones, because that's the most important thing. You can have all the leads in the world, but if you can't convert anybody, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, 100%. That couldn't be any more true. And along with that advice, it's good to keep in mind what we mentioned earlier, where these online leads are 6 to 12 months out. So this is a long game. A lot of people look at online leads like it's instant and they're going to be able to convert on the first try, no matter what your skill level. That might not always happen. So keep that in mind when you're trying to decide whether or not a program like Zillow Premier Agent is the best for you, or if Facebook ads are the best for you.
So should we give them tips right now on like how to convert over the phone or no? Ooh. Or should we say that for a different episode?
Let's save it for a different episode, because that could actually be an episode in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's at that point, yeah, that's a different secret sauce.
Yeah, and also some more updates and news. We started using Pipedrive.
Yes.
So, all right,
Shout out to Eric Braun.
Oh God, that guy. Like, I hate you, bro. That was the worst thing you've ever did to me. Because, mind you, I use Zapier. I created this whole system, and
So time out. So Alex actually, he's obsessed with automation. He's obsessed with Zapier, and he actually built us. So a lot of the things that we create is out of necessity.
Yes.
Like the Agent Planner Pro from Design for Realtors. Like
I literally made it. Like I designed it so Amanda can make it pretty for myself because I thought that was gonna be super helpful.
we couldn't find a planner for real estate agents online that we liked and fit our lifestyle.
And trust us, we bought a bunch.
Yeah, we bought a bunch and we tried, and Alex, like, he came up with his own thing, asked me to make it pretty, and then we were like, oh, like, other people would love this too, and that's how Agent Planner Pro became a product.
And it's our like top seller.
Yeah, it's actually our number one.
Yeah. Yeah, and also, guys, we're making if you don't know, we're actually making a physical book of it now, so you guys can have a quarter in your hand. You don't have to print it yourself. You can just purchase it online. So that's pretty awesome.
And I will say it is really nice quality and fits in a lot of different places because it's flexible.
Yeah.
More on that later. But you know, I completely forgot. We went off on a tangent.
Oh, sorry about that.
Agent Planner.
We were talking about how I created a Google Sheet.
Oh yes, your obsession with automation.
My obsession with automation, indeed.
The stuff that we do based off of necessity. And Alex, we couldn't find a CRM that we liked, so he went and he made his own CRM.
That's what I do.
Yeah, so he built this really robust, awesome system using Google Sheets, which was great because Google Sheets is free, and our real estate agents within the brokerage, like our team, you know, what's better than providing them with a tool that they don't have to pay for?
Yeah. I feel like, I've been through a lot of different CRMs. I went through iExact, I went through Top Producer, and they all had their limitations.
Yeah.
Right. So basically what I wanted was something that could go based off of, all the tools we had and put them together.
Yeah. So he actually did a really great job, hours and hours and hours of setting up the integration between Google Sheets and Zapier and integrating with everything, like all the other different tools that we use, including like the Facebook lead gen, IDX broker, and all these things, and automated emails, MailChimp. The list goes on. He did all of that, and it was great. But then Eric Braun from Contour Mortgage came along.
He came and ruined everyone's day.
And he told us at a networking event about this thing called Pipedrive and Lion's Desk. So we didn't bother with Lion's Desk, but I'm not gonna lie, it was like 12 o'clock in the morning and I fell in love with Pipedrive and how seamless and aesthetically pleasing it looked. And I went to Alex and I was like, oh my gosh, we have to try this.
Yeah, and now we are building that out, trying to automate it as much as possible.
Yeah.
It still has limitations.
Yes, it does have its limitations, which we'll probably talk about on a different episode of this podcast. But, how this relates back to Zillow Premier Agent leads and Facebook leads, Facebook ad leads, is that you've got to have a good CRM set up, a good follow-up funnel set up. You cannot do anything with these leads. Like, okay, you might get lucky, but more likely than not, you're not going to have any success with any of these leads. Like, don't bother trying to run Facebook ads unless you actually have these things set up.
Yeah. So, we could talk a little bit about that, right? So we have a system in place. So when a lead comes in within 24 hours, we have to reach out. We speak to them, right? If they're ready right now, we invite them to the office. If they're not ready right now, we put them on a follow-up campaign, which will allow them to get properties over time. And then there's a long-term follow-up, which is 1,000 emails and a bunch of text messages over time, not in their face, but it's
about 3 years worth of follow-up. follow-up?
3 years worth of follow-up. So in 3 years, when they're ready, they will come to us. But it's all value adds. It's not bombarding people with, hey, look, buy with me, sell with me. Hey, I'm the best in the industry. Blah, blah, blah. Look. Like, no, providing information. That's where you want to focus on.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, as a real estate agent, you don't want to just be known as a realtor or real estate agent. You want to become a resource and build relationships with these individuals who are contacting you about their interest in properties.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So, selfless plug, once again, this podcast is brought to you by Design for Realtors, where you can find instant, downloadable, customizable marketing designs and apparel for modern real estate agents.
Yes, like me and Amanda.
You can find it at designforrealtors.com. We'll place the link all over the place.
Yeah.
So that you can check it out, see if you like anything.
Yep.
So I guess, let's take it to a close. We shared a lot of information about, pros, most cons for Zillow Premier Agent.
Yeah, I mean, all in all, I personally think that Zillow is cutting out the realtor, right? They're
It's more of a moral decision.
It's more of a moral decision that we've made. I think as realtors, as professionals who actually care about the industry, I'm not saying that, we're always doing things right, but there has to be a higher level of entry. So we have to improve and we have to be better marketers overall, because as realtors, our job is to market. If you're not marketing, you're not a realtor. You're basically a tour guide and someone who could point at kitchens all day,
Yes.
right? And to be honest with you, a monkey could point at a kitchen.
It's true.
Right? So we have to be able to provide more value, provide more education, provide more to the customer so that they want to go with a professional and not just make an offer through a website with no knowledge of the neighborhood, no knowledge of how a co-op or condo works, or, has no connection with an inspector, doesn't get an inspection because they have no idea what that they need to.
Yeah.
Or, we provide more value than what you probably think if you're a newbie, right? But we have to obtain that information and grow our profession.
Yeah, and if you are a new real estate agent and you're listening to this, I know a lot of real estate agents go through this when they first start out, where you kind of you're afraid of giving off those salesman vibes. Because, we grow up with a negative connotation with regards to salespeople. But keep in mind that if you actually approach your real estate business from an actual caring for people place, deals are people. If you approach it from a relationship building standpoint, you're going to have a lot more success than what any of these online, lead funnel things can ever bring you.
100%.
Yeah, so having those genuine conversations at open houses could be the difference between you actually helping that person find a home, or that person just saying oh yeah, I saw them at the open house, but I'm gonna go look at some of the properties alone.
Yeah. And a lot of people are just, they're scared of what they don't understand, right? So they go to Zillow because they think they're going to understand it. But if you think about it, Zillow gets all their information from realtors, right? So they think that Zillow is the professional, but in reality, they're using our information to basically sell us back our leads, which
that's the ironic part.
It's ironic. Think about it. You get a listing, right? You put it on Zillow. They sell your leads information to someone else, or they sell it back to you.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
When in reality, you should be able to pop up a website and be able to market and sell it yourself.
When you phrase it that way, it almost makes it hard to wrap your head around why any real estate agent would give money to.
Yes. And that's why I'm leaning towards the Sobati, Sotheby route, where they don't really, they're not part of MLS. At least the one in Queens, right? So they're not part of the MLS. They're not, what I'm saying? They don't have to deal with all these rules and regulations. They just market the way they're marketing and do the best marketing job they can for their clients in an upscale way. And they're not tied into to Zillow or whatever. Maybe they do what they got to do.
Yeah.
Right.
They're branding wise. Like a lot of the agent brokerages firms that are out there who don't use these extra things like MLS and Zillow and all this stuff, you know, they have strong brands, and that's one of the added benefits. And another,
Like compasses, you're saying?
I mean, yeah, try not to name names.
I mean, come on, they're big names.
Yeah, well, I gotta remember that this is 100% real without.
Yeah, let's not hold anything back.
I'm sure as this show progresses, I will get a little more real. we might start needing a censor sound.
Maybe.
But you know, they have established brands, and that's really hard to do if you're just focusing on using the MLS and using Zillow.
Yeah.
Your brand is nowhere. It's like your little teeny little face in a circle.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, if you think about branding, it goes beyond, like, you're not when you use services like Zillow all the time, and that's like your main way of promoting a listing or whatever it may be. You're not building a brand at all. You're building their brand.
Yeah, you're
right.
Zillow.
Zillow should be like Yelp, in the sense where people should go there for reviews to see who you've helped and what you focus on. They shouldn't be going there mainly for your listings. And a great way to actually, like, I think, to actually take some of the power back from Zillow is if everyone learned how to market themselves, right? And they'll be like, hey, this is not going on Zillow for 20 days. The first 10 days, the only people that have access are the people that go to my website for these listings, right? Especially if you're a heavy hitter.
If there are any developers out there listening to this,
yeah, I just gave you a website to build.
Yeah.
And it could happen. To be honest with you, I'll start a Kickstarter right now, and I'll do it right now, and then everybody could just donate money to that, and then we'll take back the market share of New York.
That would be very epic.
That would be epic. But there you go, guys. This is our first podcast. I'm super excited to see how it pans out. And listen to Ayinde.
Yes.
Thank you for donating your music to us.
Yes, that was awesome. And you know, just as the expectations, you know, this podcast is called 100% Real with Alex and Amanda, and it's a business lifestyle podcast. Yes, we will be talking about real estate because it's what we do. It's one of the businesses that we have.
100%.
But we do have multiple businesses, and we know many different business owners. So we're going to have a variety of different topics and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you are a business owner and real estate agents, you are all business owners.
Yes, please take responsibility of the fact that it's your business.
Yes, own that. You know, all these topics, they kind of melt into one another. Business is business, and a lot of things that work for one type of business sometimes can be translated to work for another.
100%. Like service industries are service industries, right? So as a lawyer, as a doctor, as you know what I'm saying, like all of that requires marketing, all of that requires you getting out there, right? And if we think about it as realtors, we have a specific goal, but how we obtain business is usually very, very similar to a lot of service industries. Yeah. So that's something to keep in consideration. The marketing is the same. The marketing knowledge is the same. That's why Gary Vee speaks to so many people, because it's literally, he's not just, it's across the board. It's something that a lot of people could benefit from.
The same Gary Vee advice that we apply to our real estate brokerage is the same advice we apply to design for realtors.
Yeah, majority of it. Yeah. Except, you know, one, it's a little heavier in different aspects, but
you know, design for realtors is still in that startup phase, but it's doing really well.
Yeah, it's doing really, really good. So check out the Agent Planner Pro.
Agent Planner Pro, be on the lookout for the printed, official printed version.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Really excited to drop that really soon. But yeah, this is the end. I mean, I guess for our first podcast, it's kind of like, how do we end it?
Cue the music.
Best believe, we the best, yes indeed, yes indeed. Yeah, best believe,